Welcome to the Quilter's app tutorial. To get started, simply select a block, tap there, and the stock library of 150 blocks comes up. Select a block to work on by tapping once. There's the block we're working on. This is the activity window. The color of gray here indicates which patch set you're working on. For instance, that color means we're working on that patch set. To work on this patch set, if I tap there, that color changes, showing me that that's what I'm working on. If I'd like to select a color for that, auditioning colors, I simply move my finger around or touch, slide it to change the value. This is the value bar. Slide my finger up and down, lighter, darker. When I find a color that I like, I can save it by tapping there, enlarging it, and then bringing it down to a smaller square. To work on a different patch set, simply touch it. The color changes here, indicating that you're working with a different patch set. If I want to work on a fabric, I'm going to touch my camera icon. That brings up my photo albums. I'm going to touch on quilt prints. Photographs show of the fabrics. I've taken photographs of various fabrics of mine. I'm going to tap on that green. The green comes up. I like that fabric. I'm going to keep it here. Now, if I have not used a color in that patch set, which I have not, if I touch here on this toggle, you'll see it comes up in the gray. Go back to the fabric, so I can see it both in the color I've selected and the fabric. So if I now want to try that in a color, I'll come over here, select a color. Now when I go back and forth, there it is with the fabric, there it is with the color. Alright, to color up this last patch set, again indicated there, go to my photo album. I'm going to select another fabric, and it comes in. I like the block. To save it, tap on the diskette. The block is saved. To see it in the quilt, tap twice. It comes into the quilt grid. Simply pull it into position, and it snaps in. If I want to make another block, tap twice. This block comes up. I can select one from my library as before. And this arrow puts you back where you were, or I'm going to go here to my saved blocks. These are blocks I've already made, and I'll pick one of them. I'll try that one. Tap twice. There it is. Again, I can pull it into various positions. There. Now I want to see what that looks like with sashing. This is the sashing slider. I bring my finger across, and you'll notice that the green shows. It will always come up as green unless you've worked on it previously in the same session. I'm going to tap twice on that. Notice the green comes up, and it says here that I'm working on sashing. I am going to select a color, however I want, use it lighter or darker. I like that color. I'm going to save it, tap twice. It's in my sashing. If I want to add a cornerstone, this icon is the cornerstone icon. Tap on it once and bright red cornerstones show up. Select one. Again, here it is in the red. I'm going to look at fabrics. And perhaps that blue. Tap twice, and there it is in the quilt. If I want to add a border, tap twice on the border. And now I have the border here to work in again. It says border. I'm going to go here to the border library, tap on it once, and select a border to work on. It comes up. Those look like very small patches, but it's easy to select one to work on. You can tell by looking here in the dark that that's the color we're working on. I'm going to decide on a color, or perhaps pick a fabric. Let's try that one. Alright, I like the fabric. Keep it. Now I'm going to put in one of my saved colors here by tapping on it, enlarging the square, tapping here. Do you see it changed? Now if I want to work on that lighter patch, I simply touch, and when that window has changed to the lighter color, I know that I have made that the active set. I'm going to touch there to enlarge that. Bring it in here. Now I want to see it with the quilt. Tap twice. And there it is with the quilt. If I want to save that quilt, I'm going to go to this icon here, which shows the arrow going down, and touch it. It's now saved. To access a quilt I've already saved, I touch here. The first time you use that, the first time you bring up quilts from your saved quilts in a session, it will take a considerable amount of time. After that, it just takes a second, as it just did now. And you can scroll through various quilts you've saved. And there's the one we were just working on. So if I want to go back and work on a quilt that I worked on before, like this one, I can just tap on it, and now it's in the working field. I'm going to select that block. The block comes up, and here's something fabulous to turn it on point. I simply turn the block on point, tap twice, and it's now on point in the quilt. You'll notice these white areas. They opened up when it went on point because it's a lattice. Those areas are not available in a straight set. I can do exactly as I've done with the other things. I can select it, it comes up, I can pick a block, any block to put in there, color it up. I could pick a block from one of the blocks I've already made in the past, and we'll just do that right now. Put that heart in, it's on point, so that's not really what I want to do. Go back, how about that one? There, put that in, and again I can carry it, select it. Now the reason you see those squares light up, those are for your sashing triangles, and you can choose any way you want to do that. I'm going to take that solid there. I like that a lot. I'm going to keep that color. And now I can carry that solid over, that solid square, and make that a setting triangle. If I decided that I want this to be solid after all, I can just carry the solid over. I can carry this out, however you want to do it. Same thing works with the sashing. I can make it larger, smaller at this stage. I could save it. Now if I go to my saved quilts and my library comes up, my saved quilts, I'm going to scroll through until I come to the quilt that I just made. I don't want to keep it, I don't like it. To delete a quilt, I tap 3 times, and you have a choice to come up to delete. Press delete, yes, I do want to delete it, and there it goes. The rest of your quilts are still here. As with saved quilts, I can access saved blocks and discard them. I have 2 of the same. I'd like to get rid of the one that's identical to delete it. Tap 3 times, comes up, press delete, and it's gone. Now, if I like this quilt and I want to email it to myself, right here is the email icon. It comes up, it's just the way any other iPhone email. You can tap your message here, you can address it to whoever, and send it.